Today, we're glad to have Theo Wijnsma with us. He's a reputation advisor at the Reputation Academy of the Netherlands. He also serves as a regional military operational advisor. In this position, he represents the Dutch Defence Operations, together with representations of the Regional Police Fire Brigade in cities, operates in the so-called local region of public safety. This organization is responsible for the public safety of people in that region. Theo has a long experience in governing and teaching in different education institutions in the Netherlands. Our reflector for today will be Okey Okere. He's a graduate of BSN with an MBA program cum laude and a doctorate, and he's the managing partner of the Culture Factor Group. Thank you so much. Theo, I'm going to hand the floor over to you, and then you can do your presentation. I'm not sure if you're going to flip your own slides, or Artiri, if you'll take care of that.
I will take care of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonida. Thank you also for the nice introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us today to have a look at reputation and image within an organization and how this affects the organization. Well, I'm already all introduced, and well, we're going now to the next slide. Yes, before we start, I would like to go over to the program with you. We first look at the reason why we want to look at image and reputation. I have titled this why even bother. Then we will go into the differences between image and reputation. It is followed by studies. Then we will discuss moral compass. And finally, we conclude with a course in reputation skills. At the conclusion of the presentation, you will be given the opportunity to ask questions. Reputation. A term we often come across. However, what is it really? And why is this such an important part of a company or organization? So that's why I also said this first slide in front. The value of a positive reputation. A positive reputation is a license to operate. An authority to be allowed to participate. A reputation is the basis for trust. And trust is the basis of a caring society. I go on. A positive reputation is something to be proud of. And proud employees are empowered. They take their responsibilities, perform to the best of their ability, and have a positive image. Building a positive reputation starts with the executives. The most leadership theories consist of support on the people axis and steering on the task axis. With reputation science, you add the values axis. So you make it like a diagram. You come out of it. You have one way and the other way, and then you go high. So you can say when the people axis is the fundament of the house, the task axis will be the wall, and with reputation, science, skills axis, you have the roof of the house. Now that we have explored the concept of reputation, I would like to move to this concept of image. What is it? And how does it differ from reputation? How does it relate to reputation? Image, you want to make a presentation for the outside and then go on to the inside. An image is the image as you would like or want to be seen by others. For instance, cars, building, aesthetics, marketing, commercials, logos, mission statements, etc. With image, the focus is on corporate interest. Manufacturers want to convince consumers that a brand, product or service is indispensable and unique, with the goal of increasing market share and increasing profits. Image is supply-oriented. With an image, the organization is on scent and wants that consumers to listen. And now we go to the next slide, where it's going about reputation. Reputation comes from the Latin word reputare. That means repeated thinking. Behavior starts inside and you're going to look for the outside. Repetitive positive behavior by individuals, teams, organizations in contact with society. With reputation comes the opinion of the customer, patient, client, student, citizen, and all other stakeholders. Not on the basis of advertising, but on the basis of actual experiences in contact with employees of the organization. Consumers are increasingly attracted by organizations with a more positive reputation and social added value. Reputation is demand-oriented. With reputation, the organization is on receiving and listens to the customer. The reputation of an organization has shown to be important to the overall performance of it. Not only for the people working together, but also for the perception of the customers, as the meaningful brand index showed. Next slide. Yes. Organizations with a positive reputation are found to perform 120% better. They have employees who can depend on each other and customers who speak positively about the organization. Source: Meaningful Brand Index 2015. Now that we have looked at image, reputation, their differences and their effects on the performance of the organization and the customer's perceptions, we will now turn to organization conscience, as this is of importance to the way next slide. What is organizational conscience? You build a positive reputation from organizational conscience. This organizational parent system, OPS, is also called the moral compass. This is a system of values and norms as prescribed by the leaders of an organization. The organizational conscience as a steering system. A positive reputation is built by steering from common values. In an organization, these are the organizational values. This is not on slide. These are the values that all employees find worthy or pursued and directional value. An organizational value is something to get out of bed for, stand in traffic jams, maybe like this morning, for and come home in the evening with pride and satisfaction. In doing so, you act on the basis of the written and unwritten rules in the workplace. The organizational conscience also helps to identify at an early stage that something is about to go wrong in terms of reputation. Connecting values. Every culture has its own values that can vary from country to country, from organization to organization, from family to family. You can one slide back. And what I said, that can vary from country to country, from organization to organization, and from family to family. Culture connects people. We share with each other what is valuable. But the principle is the same. Belonging to an adolescent through clothing, habits, and behavior, that is a great value. Values are instilled in us during parenting, that are the personal values, education, the professional values, organization, the organizational values, and environment, the social values. Like Erasmus said 400, 500 years ago, values are developed during upbringing and then in training. So, how do we build this organizational reputation? Where can we find courses for this, and who would benefit from a course on how to build and implement a positive reputation into the organization? Next slide. Let's have a look at this here. A course in reputation studies. To build a positive reputation, you need a theory, a communication model, the right tools and behavior skills. To complement the regulatory environment, there are continuing and education programs needed to have for executives, for supervisors, for board members, for auditors, and for all others involved in the organization's reputation management, with the goal of the expertly built the reputation of yourself, your team, the department, and of the organization where you work. We have come to the conclusion, next slide, of the presentation, and I would like to give you an opportunity to ask questions that may have risen, or there are any outstanding questions that you would like me to address. Thank you so much for attending this online presentation, and please be advised that you can contact us and find more information about us on our website by our email address, and that's what you see now right on this last slide. And when I may say, reputation is how others feel about you based on your behavior. Image is how you want others to think about you. Reputation studies is about building a positive reputation through reputation behavior. Behavior aimed at establishing a good name and fame. Reputation studies does not only contribute to the profit of an organization, it also contributes to the well-being of director, executives, employees, and consumers. Moreover, a positive reputation also has a general social interest. It is the basis of trust, and trust is the basis of our society. One last word. Reflecting on this presentation and the questions we also want to hear in a few minutes, there is a great interest in the area of reputation, and that not for all people involved in the organization it is always clear what reputation is and how this differs from image. In addition, we have discovered today that image is related to, but not the same as reputation, and that in order to implement a positive reputation within the company or organizational, several elements will need to be worked on. We can provide assistance in this area with the course we offer on reputation. A positive reputation is the foundation for a valuable organization. Your reputation, your license to operate, and I will end my presentation with a few words from a colleague here from the BSN, Hinrich Slobbe. It takes the first step to value creation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Theo, for your presentation. We will now go over to Okey, who will reflect on your presentation and on the field of reputation. Thanks, Okey. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, thanks, Okey. We can.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Theo, for such a wonderful presentation. Indeed, the concept of reputation is becoming more and more emphasized in this day and age. A colleague of mine once said that the world has moved from the information age to the reputation age, because now reputation is much more important than you can imagine. In terms of your sales of your products or your services, who you represent, what you represent, your reputation is really important. You have activist buyers and activist markets in the sense that people sometimes may not even purchase your products if they believe that you have a reputation that does not agree with their values. You also have issues like the woke generation, where people are now much more vocal about what they believe equality or other social issues are about. And they see that your reputation as an organization doesn't align with what is popular now. They tend to not only reject your products, but they actively promote others to reject your product as well. I like what you mentioned about the difference between image and reputation. I think that is, for me, one of the watersheds in this session. Being able to distinguish between image and reputation, and I think many of us actually get that wrong. That image is about presentation from the outside to the inside, and image is supply-oriented. It is sort of like you as an organization trying to force people to think in a particular way about you. And then you try to do that artificially, if I would use the word. You want to use symbols to represent your reputation. Whereas he said that reputation, from the Latin word that means repeated thinking, is about what you do inside the organization based on what the market, the customers, the stakeholders demand from you. In other words, it's about taking responsibility and saying that we're not only going to try to convince people that we are in a particular way, we're going to look at what people need, what they demand, what they actually want from us, and we're going to start doing those things that they want from us. And that when we do that consistently as an organization, we will have a reputation. And I think that is quite important, because when you have that reputation as an organization, then your clients, your stakeholders know what to expect from you. And if they hear news that is contrary to what they have been able to expect from you over the years, they probably will doubt that. They say, no, that organization probably will not do that, because over the years, that organization has proven to be, to have a reputation that.
Your sound is, you got lost, Okey. You're muted.
Can you hear me now? My apologies. I think I hit the mute button by mistake. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Yes. So he said that a positive reputation is a license to operate. It's a license to operate. And that building a positive reputation starts with the executives. You know, it's so interesting to imagine that the most important elements of an organization, you will never find them on the balance sheet of the organization. The employees of the organization, the leadership quality of the organization, the culture of the organization, and importantly as well, the reputation of the organization. There is no financial quantity. Anybody who's an accountant here can verify what I'm saying. You don't have on the balance sheet a section of the balance sheet that says our reputation is valued at $50 billion. There's no such thing as that. However, even though it does not appear on the balance sheet, your reputation, your culture, your employees, your leadership are probably the most important aspects of your organization, the most important elements of an organization. So what does this mean to investors? What does this mean to stakeholders? We should continue to consider the reputation of organizations before we invest in them. We should continue to consider the reputation of organizations before we partner with them. We should consider the reputation of organizations before we buy from them. Indeed, we should. And then one more thing that he talked about, which is the fact that if you have a positive reputation, your organization will likely perform better, 120% better than your peers. And I agree with that as well, because a positive reputation will go a long way to convince the market or to pull the market towards you. One question that I think that I have with me is, do people already share the values that constitute your reputation when they join your organization, or do they assimilate those values after they join the organization? In other words, we have a reputation. Do people come to join our organization on account of our reputation, or perhaps when they join the organization, do they learn what makes us us and assimilate it? It's a very interesting question. And I think, Theo, if you could, when you answer questions, you can add to the other questions that will be answered. Do people already want to contribute to that reputation, or do they learn how to contribute to it when they join our organization? And I will close my reflection with this, that reputation, again, is based on your actions, like Theo said, but image is how you want people to see you. And I think the encouragement here for organizations is focus more on doing what the stakeholders expect. Of course, responsibly in that sense. You have to also consider what is sustainable, not just for your organization, but sustainable for your society, sustainable for your stakeholders, and sustainable for the world at large as you build your reputation. So thank you again, Theo, for your wonderful presentation. Looking forward to having you answer some of the questions that are already here. Thank you.
Thank you, Okey. I believe you are also an expert, and I couldn't have said better. Well done.
Thank you so much, Okey, for your reflection. Theo, we already have one question in the chat room. The question is, what would be the weight of each factor impacting an organization's reputation, such as perceived success and the organization's leaders' behavior?
Maybe you can repeat the question.
Sure. What would be the weight of each factor impacting the organization's reputation, such as perceived success and the organization's leaders' behavior?
Wat zijn criteria van reputatie? Hoe bouw je die op?
Yeah. Well, I think the most important thing to do, and it's already a little bit said by Okey, is that the people have the interest of the organization and the values, and maybe you should start with a way that every employee in the organization is also responsible or may discuss about what is really important. And when those values from all employees are the same, that is possible when you can discuss in little groups about what are the values, your interests. Then you can come to a few values that for all employees and also for the executive and the director, where they will, what I already said, will stand up for and go the traffic jam through, because they want to go to that beautiful organization that is built on values that all people really do connect. Is that
Okay,
our answer? What response to the question?
Mohammed, does that answer your question? Yeah, Mohammed says yes.
Yes, I see it.
I wanted to contribute as well to that. It is important to understand that from a holistic viewpoint, all of these elements you've mentioned, Mohammed, they are important. All of these elements are important. You know, sometimes empirically, we try to put certain things as more important than the other. But I think the message here is that reputation in the doing of things is essentially valuing what your stakeholders want. And there must be emphasis at all levels in terms of not only the leadership behavior and the success. We cannot exactly trade off one for the other, in a sense. We can't exactly trade off success for leadership behavior and vice versa. However, what we're saying, or what I believe Theo is saying, is if your leadership behavior is aligned to the demands of the stakeholders justly, you will tend to see that the organization in itself will not only build a reputation, they would also succeed. Success will depend on your reputation. If you doubt me, you look at the cases of organizations that have tried to cut corners in the past, you would have temporary success. And eventually when it hits you, your reputation or your lack of a reputation will take you down and then you fail completely. So it is important to bear that in mind. Yes, we have to balance success with behaviors, but the behavior, particularly in terms of what your repeated thinking, what you do in the organization, what we call your core beliefs as an organization, they really, really matter. Stick to your core beliefs, but make sure that your core beliefs are aligned with the expectations of sustainability of the world around you, of your stakeholders.
Thank you, Okey.
Yes, I can give a little bit more words to that. Reputation behavior is so important, and because that is why how the stakeholders will see you, and when you're not anymore feeling good about the organization, then there is a lack of reputation behavior or what you should do. So I think it's very important. Reputation behavior is just the most what you see, what you do, and what the stakeholders you can hold on to.
Thank you, Theo. We have a question from Olusana from Nigeria. What is the difference between organizational values and reputation?
Well, I think you get a good reputation when the organizational values you consider to have are also coming out. That the people, the stakeholders do see that your values are meaningful for every employee.
Thank you so much. Then we have one question here from Pascal Bahulu from South Africa. He says, can all this apply to at a personal level? What happens when your compass is in conflict with the expectation of a corrupt environment?
Well, that's a good question. Yes, when you're doing good by the mafia, it's not good, of course, to do so what I want you to do. I think there are not. I think what whole matters is the organizational values and how you, as a person, you also have your own values and so your conscience must be connecting with the organization. Maybe Okey can help me further with this.
Yes. Indeed, straight answer to that, there's a saying from a very, very important saying, which I posted up on my WhatsApp status a few days ago by W. Edwards Deming. He said, a bad system will beat a good person every time. A bad system will beat a good person every time. My genuine advice to anybody who is a crusader, I use the word crusader carefully, you come into an organization hoping to change the organization, please be careful. Except if you have the ultimate power in the organization, you're the topmost leader and you have the power to make decisions to change the organization drastically. If you don't have that power, my candid advice to you is to find an organization that you believe is not morally corrupt. You need to find an organization that aligns with your moral values. If you get into an organization thinking you can change the organization, it might be difficult if you're a middle manager. If you're the CEO, most likely you can. But if you're a junior manager, you probably would not. And I bet you over time, it is possible that the corrupt values of that organization might also influence you over time. So just to be careful about that. And that's my candid advice, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's time for a change because when you're in conflict, then you're not happy to go to your work anymore. So as values are doing so much for you, so you better should make a break.
Thank you. Thank you. Femi Amalolu, you had your hand up for a question. I'm not sure if you're still wanting to answer your question or ask your question. No?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I've put it in the chat because I wasn't able to chat before.
Okay.
So I was saying like, yeah, is it right to say that the image is what is seen about our organizations, while our reputation is what is said about our organizations? And for those of us who are in the service delivery industry, I mean, I was wondering where does the organizational culture intersect with our reputation and our image? Thank you.
Our organizational.
Thanks, Femi.
Okay. Could I quickly jump in on this? Femi, I can tell you right away, your culture creates your reputation.
Yeah.
Very simple. Your culture creates your reputation. In other words, your culture as an organization is how you relate with each other, how you relate to your work, and how you relate to your stakeholders, how you treat them, what you do for them. And it deals with your rituals in terms of what you do. It deals with what you value in terms of heroes in the organization. Also, it involves the symbols as well that you project as an organization. Your culture as an organization, your organizational culture will impact your reputation. And it continues as well. When your reputation grows, it hopefully gives you a better standing in front of your stakeholders, and it helps you to do more. Just like Theo said, your reputation, positive reputation, is a license to operate. If you have the right culture, it will help you build a positive reputation, and it will increase your success as an organization. So I think that is what I would like to say about that. Theo?
Correct. I agree with you. I think that it's good that the reputation you want to be that's building up by stakeholders. They give you the reputation. You cannot give yourself the number one status. That is not what you can do. That is what the stakeholders will do with you if they are happy with you and in what you're doing in your behavior.
Thank you. I think we can take one last question. It's from George Woods from the UK. Is there a global reputational index by industry one could take a look at, given the emerging importance of this topic?
Well, I don't know really right now the answer for that, but it's a very good idea to measure your reputation, and that the measurements maybe must be coming more and more. But it's also, of course, how the environment does see you. That is what you also will feel, and the results will also have a good sign for that.
Okay, thanks very much for that. I think we have. Sorry, okay, go ahead.
Yes, I was about to say, I agree with George that that's a good MBA research topic, or DBA research topic. So just in case you're looking for one, that's a good research topic. There are indices for measuring media reputation index, which is how the media perceives you as a company. There are. And indeed, there are a few indices. There's corporate reputation index by a company called Insightrix, and I know there are a few out there. The only problem, unfortunately, is oftentimes they tend to be considered subjective, because the question is, who is the person who is measuring the reputation, and on what basis are you measuring it? But I think, like we said, it might be a good I see Reputation Institute as well. They have the RepTrack report, so which I think somebody just posted it in right now.
Yeah.
In there.
Yes, somebody posted saying that there is a Reputation Institute that posts a RepTrack report which ranks the world's most reputable companies. So there is some around that, but I don't think enough research has been done on that. So yes, definitely something that somebody could do more research on.
Thank you for that post indeed. So that's very good that people all around the world are showing us that they also are a very good expert in this, and finding with each other we'll come there and build with each other a good reputation. So thank you.
Thank you for all the questions that were posted. We have no time for more questions. Just to say thank you very much to Theo for your very insightful presentation. It's given us a lot to think about, and Okey for your reflection. You just made more for us to think about. Thank you very much for your contributions, and thanks for the questions. Next week, we have our Goodmorning BSN number 33, and it's a responsible leadership topic on strengthening an organization's culture through action learning and gamification. And it will be presented by Dr. Mohammed Yassin and reflected on by Peter Harrington. So just to say thank you very much for everybody that attended this morning. Much appreciated. All have a lovely day. Thank you very much.